Okay, so we're live, maybe, and we super duper hope that that we're back. And I'm seeing load video, so we're definitely getting an ad on Twitch. So they've got that aspect of the whole experience working, which is great.
When was the last time you had Pringles?
You know, I do eat like a Pringle or two every once in a while.
Oh, really?
I particularly love pizza Pringles.
Oh, pizza Pringles are the best.
I know. Well, they didn't have them, at least not in Canada.
Not in Canada, yeah.
For a really long time. And so they brought them back, and I binged a bit. And then it was a terrible, terrible thing for everyone involved. And yeah. So I guess since we apparently didn't actually have a working stream for quite some time last time around, we're going to go ahead and we'll intro our topics, and we'll just kind of, it's definitely working now. There you go. I don't know what it was. We tried turning it off and turning it back on again, and now it works.
We were uploading fine and encoding fine.
Yeah. So we've got some great topics for you guys today. CD Projekt Red is, basically they've tackled the whole downgrade issue head on.
They're tackling.
Well,
we haven't actually seen any of that happen yet.
We haven't seen the tackle.
So they dove, and they're right here.
I wouldn't even say they've gotten that far. Because they've got X's and O's drawn on the whiteboard. There is a plan to tackle.
Well, they've been developing them.
Yeah.
Is it still planning?
Maybe they're in the huddle at this point.
Okay.
Or they're lined up on the line of scrimmage.
All right.
Maybe they've gotten that far.
Yeah.
Okay, AMD is super, super mad about Nvidia GameWorks again. What else we got?
Because there's a new Nvidia GameWorks game. Yeah. Makes sense. Also, there's apparently a 4 GB limit for the first HBM graphics card from AMD, which they're talking a lot about. And LG is unveiling a wallpaper OLED display.
Don't tell them anything else about it, because there's really not much more.
Which is something. Stay tuned to find out.
Oh. Wait. What?
It's gone!
Where is it? Where is it?
The audio.
There's audio? Oh, sorry everyone. I'm working on it. There we go. Sorry. We love you guys.
Sorry to your ears.
Maybe at some point, what we should do is... whoops. I forgot to put... Squarespace! Freshbooks!
iFixIt!
You're not going to sing it?
iFixIt!
Wow, that's awful. Okay.
That's basically what you did.
It's probably just as well you...
We were just playing horse.
We were playing horse.
We're wearing almost the same shirt.
Yes, we are.
We were also wearing almost the same shirt earlier.
That's true. We were wearing inverted shirts earlier. He had the
gray Twitch shirt.
The gray Twitch shirt with the purple logo, and I was rocking the purple Twitch shirt with the... Used to be white, but I own it, so now it's gray logo on it. Alright, so CD Projekt Red is taking the Witcher 3 downgrade issues head on. This was posted by that guy who twirls his pen on the forum. That is a fantastic username, and the original article here is from Eurogamer.net. So let's go ahead and pull that bad boy up. And pretty much the quote here, this is great. The subheadline is, "We don't feel good about it." One thing they've done well throughout all of this is they've actually maintained a lot more openness and a lot more honest dialogue with the community. Instead of just saying, "No, that never happened," they've come out and they've said, "Well, look. Yeah, we could have made The Witcher 3 a PC exclusive title. Yes, it would have had better graphics. Would we have had the financial ability, were that the case, to make it such a large and immersive game? No, we would not have. So we developed it on multiple platforms."
From the sound of what people think about the game so far, that was probably worth it.
Yeah, so the thing is that the game is getting rave reviews everywhere. People are sinking hours and hours upon hours of time into it already. So it's just unfortunate that the launch had to be sullied by this graphical downgrade issue. The good news is CD Projekt Red has an action plan. They've drawn it out on the strategy whiteboard in a boardroom somewhere, presumably at their headquarters.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's a boardroom somewhere else.
Technically, everything that he said is possible.
Yes. So pretty much there's a patch with updates coming, and these are looking pretty impressive. Not only will they give us more options to tweak in the graphical options menu, they will also be allowing users to push graphical settings and tweak them even further by modifying INI files, which shouldn't be a feature.
In a less janky kind of way.
Like, Quake 3 supports widescreen because you just change your FOV and your resolution in INI file. It's a pretty old game now. It should not be a feature, but the good news is that at least we're getting it.
Yes.
So what's the timeline on that?
I think it's next week.
Okay.
Sometime 27th. Yeah, sometime around next week, I think.
Yeah, so it's waiting in certification, so it should actually be dropping on Tuesday of next week. Now, this is kind of nice, although, so quote from CD Projekt Red, for those who are still not 100% decided, I definitely encourage them to wait and see what we will be releasing in patches, updates, and whatnot. So it's very high road of CD Projekt Red to say, hey, if you're not sure about it, we really want you guys to be sure about the game before you purchase. I mean, did you guys accept pre-orders? Did you show off in-game footage that didn't actually end up being in the shipping product? And did you take pre-orders on that? Like, did you do that? If we hadn't caught you on this, would you have... Did you really think no one was going to catch it? That's the big question. If it's only taking them a couple weeks to fix this stuff, why wasn't it fixed already?
Yeah.
Because surely they knew, after the Watch Dogs debacle, that someone was going to look at gameplay footage from a gaming event from before and compare and see that they're not the same. Surely they figured that would happen.
You know what is pretty funny, though, is the amount of, PCMR threads on Reddit and stuff of people... I think I only saw 2 of them. Maybe there was some more. But people looking at the IGN footage where they actually did a comparison and being like, oh, I think they might have screwed up, and, they labeled it improperly. And they totally didn't. And the PC one looks way better. And you just don't know what good graphics look like.
It's kind of funny because it doesn't seem that complicated, does it?
No.
Anyway, so speaking of good graphics, some of the things, we actually never mentioned this, some of the things that you'll be able to tweak with the upcoming patch are things like grass and vegetation density. So if you just have more GPU horsepower to throw at it, then go hard, more grass.
That looks really good. Looking at a lot of the Skyrim mods that just add grass and that's all they do, it makes it look really good.
Grass makes every experience better. And you can add post-processing effects like sharpening, and you can increase draw distances. For me, draw distances are a huge one.
Oh, yeah.
Draw distances are the difference between, circa 2008 World of Warcraft and a game that looks modern. Being able to amp that up, you can have the cartooniest, stupidest graphics in the world, and great draw distances make the world feel bigger. And I'm not talking draw distance like there's kind of this triangle in the distance, and there's kind of a jagged line on the top of it that's white. That's not a mountain. I'm talking draw distances that scale in a way that feels natural. So things like trees, not just... as you come over a hill and the entire forest pops in as you take 3 steps forward. That's really ugly. That takes me right out of the game. Whereas being able to increase that if you have the horses for it means more to me than some tessellation here or a more detailed shadow there.
I would love that to be an option in a game for all the things that are pretty far away in draw distance to just be drawn like a little kid did it. So, the trees are with, some random triangles coming off the side, and a mountain is just literally a triangle with a squiggly.
You know what? If someone could find a way to do that artfully, that could actually be really cool.
Yeah.
As the object gets closer, it looks as if an older and older kid drew it.
Yeah. So, you could even go from... I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Just upgrade based on tiers of quality. Like you said, older and older kid did it. So, from really far away, it's super derpy, but you can barely see it. And as you get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, it keeps on getting better.
Well, what the dev would have to do is quantitatively figure out, the because not every tree could be the same tree. You can just have some 2-year-old come in and draw a tree, and then that's like your tree from X distance. Because then you're going to have that. There's not going to be anything smooth about it as you move towards it.
Yeah.
It'll just be pop, pop, pop different objects that will look horrible. Whereas if they could
you have to actually have
quantify
it, like,
the drawing accuracy and seamlessly meld from one level to another as you get closer to it.
You'd probably have to go backwards. You'd probably have to draw the really nice one first and then kind of break it down.
It would probably make your eyes bleed regardless, but
Oh, yeah.
it seems like a cool idea.
I would like to see it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'd like to see it and then go, that's cool.
That
Good-
was cool. Thanks for all that work.
Good for you.
Let's not use it now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, so more Witcher discussion, this time posted by Cameron. Sorry about that, Caraman. AMD says, and this is going to be a whole lot of AMD says, Nvidia says, because we haven't signed an NDA to see the source code for Nvidia GameWorks features. So we don't know what's on the NDA to see the source code for Nvidia GameWorks. Now, the good news is that the source code is available to game developers who are implementing features such as Hairworks, which makes hair more realistic with tessellated strands. But the bad news is that, and this is what AMD is saying, they cannot get access to the source code and are saying, therefore, they cannot optimize their driver for these particular features, something that particularly makes them upset because AMD developed features like TressFX, featured in games such as Tomb Raider 2013, were possible to optimize quite easily on Nvidia's hardware, thanks to... Oh, thanks, Norton. Thanks, Norton.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Thanks again, Norton!
This is why people need Norton removal tool.
Yeah, I know, right? So pretty much AMD's come out and said that when Nvidia dropped the Hairworks code on the game 2 months before launch, it completely sabotaged Witcher 3 performance. Now, with that said, you can turn Hairworks off.
Yep.
You do not have to use it.
Yep.
So that's an option. And when we do comparative testing in Witcher 3, we are probably going to have to turn Hairworks off just because it does completely widen the gap between an NVIDIA card and an AMD card to the point where it seems like, yeah, that's tough. We're to the point where you can't quantitatively talk about the difference in performance between the cards because it becomes very subjective when you go, well, this one's at 62 FPS and this one's 67, but in this one, Geralt's chest hair, curls very convincingly.
It looks a lot more manly.
Yeah, so it becomes a very difficult discussion, whereas we like to talk pure numbers whenever possible. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, something to
It's a lot of the same story.
Yeah, something to understand about this, you guys, is that AMD's cards, whether we're talking Witcher 3 or whatever else, straight up do not perform as well with heavy tessellation as NVIDIA cards. So until AMD releases let's say a rumored upcoming 390X, for example, with, amped up, injections of steroids directly into the muscle tissue, not that that would necessarily help, until it's got tessellation, out the wazoo, it just may not even be possible for AMD to optimize. And one of the things that NVIDIA pointed out is that a lot of the time the driver optimizations done by AMD or NVIDIA on a game-by-game basis are based on binary builds, not on source code anyway. So NVIDIA is basically going, AMD shouldn't even need the source code in order to optimize anyhow. So this is one of those things where, unfortunately, and NVIDIA says there's nothing in their agreement with a game developer that prevents AMD from working with the game developer to optimize. Unless we actually had those contracts and could read them, we actually can't say for sure. So that's pretty much all there is to it. The game performs better with Hairworks on an NVIDIA feature on NVIDIA cards. Is NVIDIA right to develop their features and not really lift a finger to help people who are not their customers enjoy the features better? You could probably say yes, they are. But should they be specifically sabotaging the performance on a competitor's cards? then definitely not. Unfortunately, we just have no way of knowing unless we actually sat in the meeting room. We have no way of knowing if Nvidia really has that tight a stranglehold on these game developers that they can convince them to sabotage their game's performance on 25 to 30% of the discrete graphics cards out there. Which, when I put it like that, sounds pretty far-fetched, doesn't it? Can you imagine a game developer that's so concerned about selling enough units that they develop for multiple platforms, just saying goodbye to performance and annoying the customers for a third of the PC gamers? I don't know.
It's possible, but yeah.
Anything's possible. Speaking of anything's possible.
We are going to do a Witcher 3 performance thing.
Yeah.
Like he slightly mentioned. But I think at this point it'll probably be after Computex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have reasons for that. But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so this one was posted by Notional, and this is looking pretty freaking cool. The original article is from english.yonhapnews.co.kr.
Yonhap.
LG display unveils wallpaper OLED panel. Look at that. The thing on the right. Jeez. So this OLED display, you can see, is being lifted up, so you can see the thickness. You can see it's not just embedded in the wall like a total cheat. This OLED display is less than 1 millimeter thick, weighs less than 5 pounds for
it's
a
1.9 kilograms.
Yeah, 1.9. Thank you. That's an exact weight. And what was that for a 55-incher?
55-inch OLED panel.
Less than 5 pounds.
Oh wait, what? Yes. Yeah.
And they're saying that their sales targets for OLED panels is 600,000 in 2015 and almost triple that of 1.5 million for 2016, and that apparently LCDs took 10 years to reach these kinds of manufacturing yields. So LG, given that they're one of the few that is investing heavily in OLED versus just kind of continuing to push the bar on LCD and try and sell more LCD, this could put LG in a fantastic position when it comes to anything with a display on it, because OLED has some compelling advantages, whether we're talking about mobile devices where they save power, or whether we're talking about really anything else with the display where they save thickness and they increase contrast ratio. And
all of those things are good.
Apparently they're also planning, what was it, a 99-inch?
Yes, 99 inches.
As big as
this year.
For this year. 99-inch OLED panel. And given how much room you're saving in terms of deploying things, what I want to know is how you're going to plug anything into it. I mean, I guess you'll just have to have like a ribbon cable that goes to like a control breakout box, or what?
A breakout box like the Mac.
They're going to have something more consumer friendly, obviously.
It doesn't show any cables in the thing, which means it's probably plugged in through the back.
Yeah, it's probably behind.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, guys, that's the panel, so it's still going to need some electronics in there. It's not like we're going to get away from PCBs anytime soon. Mm-hmm. But very, very impressive. The fact that you'll be able to basically... Well, I mean, okay. Okay, we have a lot of thin TVs already. But they'll be even thinner. One of the challenges, apparently, I was talking to Corning about this at CES this last year. One of the challenges, now that displays are getting so thin, is not just making them thinner. Apparently they can just do that now. It's not making them thinner, it's actually making them strong enough to work at all. So Corning was saying that one of the materials that they developed, I think this was for, I want to say for LCDs, yeah, it must have been for LCDs, you wouldn't need this for OLED, is a glass that is able to disperse light evenly in the same way that the plastic layer in your existing LCD TV would, because apparently this gives it a lot more strength and you can save an entire reinforcing layer that you would have otherwise needed. Not that, for me, it really makes any particular difference. I think my TV is about this thick, and I've never thought to myself, you know, if only my TV was an inch thinner, then that show would look better.
It's still cool that that's an option, because if you went to the store and it was the same price and that much thinner, then that's
you might as well.
Yeah, like but you're right.
And if your TV...
I wouldn't rush out to the store and replace your TV. Your TV's fine.
If your TV is like a piece of furniture, if it's like a if your house is all like modern and amazing, like mine will never ever be, because there's no way I could spend that kind of money to replace things I already own. But if you're into that sort of thing, then I'm sure you'll be into this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we could all be into things, and that's cool. That's fine. Toyota Prius batteries apparently being targeted by car thieves. This was posted by Werto165. I guess it was a matter of time, because if thieves are going to steal the copper out of power lines and risk getting killed...
That happened not way too long ago, like relatively close to here.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they were stealing it out of like an abandoned theater or something.
There you go.
But the power hadn't been turned off to the theater.
Well, there you
so
go.
they're ripping copper wire out and just, yeah.
And there you go.
Bad news bears.
And that's how it happens,
Not
my
good.
friends.
So 2003 to 2009 Priuses are just kind of starting to come up on battery replacement timings. That costs around $2,500 US, so it's not cheap. But you can buy them on Craigslist for $900 to $1,000.
Now, they don't put a serial number or a VIN number on the batteries, so they're pretty much untraceable. That, and it's being said that you can walk out with a Prius battery in about 20 minutes if you got a couple people. Now, to be clear, this is not as much of an issue for a pure electric vehicle like something like a Tesla Model S, because for one, it's much harder to get at the battery, and it's in a more secure location. It's not just under the trunk. And for number two, it's extremely heavy. What is it? 1,000 pounds or something stupid like that?
Oh, yeah, no, that's really not light. Tesla Model S batteries weigh about 1,000 pounds.
Weigh about 1,000 pounds compared to 150 pounds for something like a hybrid vehicle. So
good luck having you and your buddy haul that. It's possible if you're both really
1,000 pounds?
big dudes.
Depending on, like, if you had to, like, bend over to lift it out or something, like,
Could
come
be
on.
really bad. Could be super bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a pretty easy way for thieves to make $1,000 pretty quick.
On a Tesla, you'd have to raise the whole car.
Yeah.
And then, like, somehow get it out of the bottom.
If it was worth enough, I wonder if they'd find a way to do it. Very interesting.
It's probably going to happen at some point.
Yep, it'll probably happen at some point, but it's really...
Someone's going to go get their car repaired not at a Tesla facility, and they'll drop the relatively new battery out and put in some crappy one or something.
It's really funny. The Yahoo Auto reports that the theft seemed to be localized to San Francisco at the moment.
That's not surprising.
They said as if that was somehow going to be a fact that we all didn't completely assume. Because I don't remember the last time I saw a Prius hybrid.
No. I've only ever seen, I think, 1 or 2 Teslas in Vancouver at all. And in the time we were in San Fran, I think we saw 1 or 2, like, at all points in time. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of places aren't super on the electric car thing yet. Other places totally are. San Fran's huge. I know Norway, they were everywhere. It was nuts. Anyways, it's a surprisingly large amount of money that you can get from stealing something in a car. Because one thing with stealing cars is they're really difficult to sell. A lot of times you have to get rid of them for, like, scrap or whatnot.
Yep. And they're not going to have too many pieces that are worth $1,000 with a ready buyer ready to rock. Now, one thing that people are being advised to do is replace the bolts holding in your battery with security bolts of some sort, and that will help. Or security nuts, excuse me.
Yeah.
But
you can also just buy those.
You
can also just buy the drivers for those.
You can buy the drivers for those, but if everyone and their dog is using a different kind of nut, I mean, it's going to take...
That's true.
It's always an arms race.
Yeah.
And thieves aren't going to be able to carry around, 30... Oh, they probably can, but the likelihood... Anyway, the point for me is not necessarily just, okay, maybe they didn't steal your battery. It's that they already smashed your window and they already roughed up your car only to find out that you've got your battery in with security nuts. In which case, I don't know, do they vandalize it? Like...
More? Yeah.
Right? Do they slash your seats while they're at it? That'll teach you for securing your battery. I don't know. It doesn't seem to help, because once someone's broken into your car, they've basically done the damage. Like, I had my car, back when I used to lock my doors, I had my car broken into twice to steal my deck that was worth less than $100, costing me multiple hundreds of dollars in window replacements. So I just stopped locking my car. Fine, if you want my deck, just take it. And the funny thing is, no one's taken my deck since then! Because I think they saw the deck, or not, they broke in, seeing if maybe there's anything else that's actually worth something, And then, because I don't know if the deck is worth breaking in for. I don't know.
The funny thing is, I wonder if leaving your doors unlocked will even help, or if people are just going to walk up to it, assume that it's locked, and break the window anyways.
I haven't had my window broken since then.
That's true.
So there you go. It happened twice in like 3 months back where I used to live.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, that was pretty not cool. All right, so this is very interesting. We've got an update to the Pentium D lineup, and we're getting Xeon Ds. And I'm all about the D. This was posted by Ming. Oh, I am. And the original article here is from CPU-world.com. So we're getting a quad-core Pentium D. That's a 25-watter.
Yeah.
However, I don't think we should be expecting any kinds of impressive clock speeds for that. And there doesn't seem to be any kind of information about whether they'll be unlocked like the previous Pentium Anniversary Edition. So just because Pentium Ds, which were, what did that stand for? I think that was Pentium Dual Core. That back when it was actually a high-end product. Yeah. So just because the Pentium D name is coming back doesn't mean we're necessarily getting anything that spectacular. Although, seeing a 25-watt quad-core with 6 megs of cache is looking pretty cool. And Xeon Ds, hyper low-power Xeons, probably very low clock speed again, with 9 or 12 megs of cache at 35, and 45-watt TDPs. So this is going to be great, mate. 8 out of 8 for folks who want to build like a cheapo FreeNAS server, for example, where you need ECC memory support, but you don't want to be spending multiple hundreds of dollars on a CPU necessarily, unless you're building like some redonkulous, massive high performance array and putting 10 gig Ethernet into it. There's no point. You might as well save the power and save the cost and get something that's pretty low end.
There's not really a ton else to say about it, I don't think. There's
it's still preliminary specs. It doesn't really tell us anything.
Yeah, mostly boring stuff.
Yep.
I guess we'll hear more in the relatively near future.
So up next, we've got, and this was posted by Obscure Mammal.
Computex?
Maybe.
We know nothing about it, so...
Yeah, I doubt it.
Probably not.
Rumors for Intel stuff are usually really early and really accurate.
That's a good point.
So maybe like Q1 next year, I don't know.
Yes.
This was posted by Obscure Mammal on the forum, and the original article here is from Ars Technica. And I'll let you
If you just let me post it first, I'll be back in a moment. So it has infected a fair number of web servers, largely...
Tens of thousands!
Largely websites and mail servers specifically. It's about 8.4% of the top 1 million websites. So it's not an insane amount, but it's
pretty impressive.
Definitely noteworthy. Don't worry, ours are fine. Anyways, basically what happens is you're able to weaken the HTTPS encryption bit key. So basically, I think you can down it to 512 bits instead of 1024 or above. So yeah, that's kind of bad, because then people can crack it much easier. Researchers are already working on developing patches for major browsers like Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, where they will reject encryption connections that are below 1024 bits. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, apparently this has been around for a long time.
Most of these are around for a long time, to be honest. Yeah.
So this was established, so basically it's just a way of snooping on your data again.
Yeah.
And this was established by the Clinton administration, so the FBI and other agencies could break the encryption used by foreign entities.
Yeah.
So
honestly, you probably don't have much to worry about. It's 8.4% of websites.
That sounds pretty worrisome. So the attack has been dubbed Logjam.
Yeah.
And it can only be exploited against a subset of servers that support the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So that allows the two parties to exchange a secret key over an unsecured public channel. So it basically takes that and it downgrades the encryption so that it can be easily cracked.
It's
still encrypted.
Yes.
To be clear.
It's like, it's honestly not that bad. It sounds a little bit worse than it is. It's not a good thing by any means, but the browser guys are already releasing patches for it. It's still technically encrypted. They're still going to have to fight through your stuff, and it's still going to have to be kind of a man-in-the-middle attack. So using your already existing knowledge as tech folks, maybe don't log into your bank on a public Wi-Fi network. Yeah. And like have different passwords for things. It's not great. It's a bad thing, but there's been much worse in recent history in terms of like online virus stuff.
Isn't that a sad state of affairs?
That is kind of a sad state of affairs. But like
that has to be your spin on this article.
I have to say. It is. Though.
That's what you have to say.
It is. Like stuff like Heartbleed was way worse.
Right.
And whatever the other recent ones were. I just remember Heartbleed because the name is really cool. But yeah, logjam, not a good thing. Not as bad as it maybe sounds immediately.
I'm trying to remember what some of the exploits
cool
with like
too.
really cool names were, like Blaster Virus.
Yeah.
MS Blaster.
Cool named viruses.
Is someone really gonna have? You know, it's the internet, of course.
List of viruses. List of
no. Oh, the top 10 most destructive computer viruses. There you go.
Here we go.
Fourth hit. Of course, everyone's gonna have.
Oh, no.
Like someone on the internet is gonna have a list like that.
I'm excited right now.
So what do you got?
Stuxnet. That's not that cool.
That's not that cool sounding.
Conficker.
No, that's not cool sounding.
No. Zeus.
No. Zeus.
Poison
I guess
Ivy.
So. My Doom.
My Doom.
Yeah,
My Doom is cool. My Doom might win.
Okay, so let's go ahead and...
Slammer. Code Red.
Okay.
These are getting a little old.
Microsoft reveals upgrade paths to Windows 10. This was posted by GoodBytes, and the original article here is winbeta.org. So, nothing too surprising here. If you have Windows 7 or 8 or 8.1 within the first 12 months, you get a free upgrade to Windows 10. This we already knew. So the main difference here is that they're explaining, well, which version you have, which corresponds to which version of Windows 10.
One thing I was wondering about here, though, is wasn't there a Windows 10 Ultimate?
I don't think so.
Where's that Windows 10 versions list that we had?
That's from last week, because there's like 100 bazillion versions of it.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of what they're selling in a box to customers, it's going to pretty much be Windows 10 Home, Windows 10 Pro.
Okay.
So if you have Windows 8 or 8.1, you get Windows 10 Home. If you have Windows 7 Home Basic, which is cool, or Home Premium, you get Windows 10 Home. What an upgrade!
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
From
if you...
Basic, that's sick.
If you cheaped out on Windows 7 Home Basic, which had like... I forget what the limitations are. Like when...
4 gigs of RAM, I think.
Was it 4 gigs?
I think so.
And it like...
I know there's a RAM limitation of some sort.
Yeah. I was it even 2 gigs of RAM?
It might have been 2. I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was really super
It was
annoying.
brutal. It was available in emerging markets. Some Windows Aero options were excluded.
Ugh.
Activation restrictions, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, it was lame. And
someone in Twitch chat's going to tell us.
Yeah, of course they are. So you are actually going to get an upgrade to Windows 10.
2
the
gigabytes?
real deal. Is it Home Basic?
Okay, so...
No, 4 gigs, 4 gigs.
People are saying both. Yeah, okay, 4 gigs, yeah.
Maximum physical...
Starter
8.
was 2 gigs.
Starter was 2 gigs.
That's, yeah,
okay.
That's the brutal one.
So, 32-bit is 4. 64-bit, you could have 8 gigs of RAM. There was a 64-bit version available, but not in retail SKUs. So that's another cool thing, is you're going to be able to upgrade to a 64-bit OS if you only had a 32-bit one.
That's cool. Partial
support for Windows Aero. No built-in DVD decoder. No multi-touch support. No Windows Media Center. No premium games included. If anyone cares about that. No encrypting file system. No group policies. No Windows XP mode. So no backwards compatibility. Ease of use thing. I've used that before. It's been very useful. Like lots of things. Basically, it's like a ginormous
it's just total poo.
Column of red.
Total poo.
Yeah, so this is it here. So super cool. And then if you have Windows 7 or Windows 8 Ultimate or Professional, then you're going to get a copy of Windows 10 Pro.
Yeah.
So
that all makes sense.
Those Ultimate folks, they just never really got anything for their money, did they?
No.
No, they did not.
It was never worth it.
Remember when Vista launched and Microsoft had all those promises about Ultimate and like the additional like cool stuff it was going to get? I guess they got an update to Windows 10. No, they don't. Because that was Vista.
'Cause-
They get nothing. That would be cool. If Microsoft was like, okay,
Do you still have this installed?
if you actually spent $250 or whatever it was on Windows Vista Ultimate, we're going to give you Windows 10.
They should have just randomly, like, 4 years down the line, been like, you all get free Office 365 for 4 years.
Or something like that. They should have just done
They're
something.
like, we like you guys.
Because, like, I remember there was, like, Ultimate Extras on, like, the install disc, and they were stupid. And I was just like, what is this rubbish? So, like, anyone installing a legitimate OS, you could tell who was pirating. Because they'd have Windows Vista Ultimate.
Well, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no one really installed it, but
And,
they
like,
bought it.
I worked in tech shops at that point in time. So you'd go and you'd be updating the machine, you go to Windows Update, and there's all the language packs. And it's just like...
Just in case
obviously pirated.
Just in case you wanted Croatian.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, okay, well, there's no way this dude has a legit version of Windows at all. Looking at how his setup is running, and just like Windows Ultimate makes 0 sense in almost any build, let alone this one.
All right, so let's move on to our next one. Another article from Ars Technica, and the original poster here is Sam Fisher.
What?
Ooh, stealthy.
Celebrity?
AMD confirms 4 gigabyte limit for first HBM graphics card. Now, to be clear, that headline is a little bit misleading because it says 4 gigabyte limit. I mean, the amount of memory on a graphics card could be defined as the limit to the memory on it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the rumored R9 390X will never get an 8 gig version.
Right.
All that means is that it's going to be a 4 gig card. So calling it a limit is true, but just...
That is super sketchy, though.
It's really wonky wording. That's all.
Yeah.
So basically, the way that HBM works and the problems with GDDR5 are that it takes up a lot of space, which requires a lot of traces on the PCB. It uses a lot of power. So GDDR5 has increased in the last 3 years by what, like 1 gigatransfer per second in terms of like the stock clock speeds on cards. Like it's at the limit, to the point where AMD is saying if we push GDDR5 any further, we're going to use up so much of that power budget that they have to build a graphics card, because if they want it to be PCI Express compliant, it has to fit within a certain power envelope. They're going to use up so much of that addressing RAM that they're not going to have enough left to build a GPU that's powerful enough to drive performance forward. With that said, Nvidia hasn't had any trouble with that.
I was just going to say,
I
don't know. Maybe just make your GPU more efficient.
That could be a thing. Well, remember, a big part of the problem right now is that smaller manufacturing processes are not readily available to the GPU guys. These are large, complicated chips, and we're only just now, finally, seeing Intel rolling out 14-nanometer CPUs beyond those Core M, like, you know, for like Ultrabooks and tablets and stuff, processors. We're only just now seeing rumors that Samsung's going to be manufacturing the upcoming A9 chip for Apple at 14 nanometer. So GPU guys, I mean, how far down are they on the pecking order compared to Apple? And like Intel making its own stuff in its own fabs that it doesn't lease to others.
No.
So
Never.
Can you imagine an AMD graphics chip being manufactured by Intel?
Nope.
In a world.
I literally can't. I can't even join your story. I literally can't.
You're just not even gonna. You're not gonna walk down this go down this rabbit hole with me, hey?
Just imagine how screwy that would be.
I mean, would Intel be able to talk them into having like, you know, like a little I even, you know, and like a year number, like date stamped on like.
I
don't know if I would even want to see that.
Just do like double digit things. So I13, I15, I17.
Okay, what else can we say about it? So
I17
this is cool.
graphics card.
So AMD says 1 gigabyte of GDDR5 takes up 672 millimeters squared of space versus a 1 gigabyte stack. So they have like these through fares through the stacked memory of HBM that takes up just 35 millimeters squared. So this is something that's kind of funny because one of the renders floating around of the 390X had it as like a stubby card. With the amount of space that AMD is saving on the PCB, what are they going to put on it?
Yeah, really.
Power delivery? And a GPU and
Little itty bitty RAM.
Like four memory chips. Because remember, one of the marks of a high-end card was the big
Full
PCB
size,
with 12 memory chips on each side of it because it had so much RAM. Well, we're not necessarily even going to need that anymore. I mean, one approach could be that we could start putting 16 to 24 gigs of RAM on a GPU.
Yeah, 64 gigs of RAM.
But I don't think we're at a point yet where the
Load
data
the
integrity...
entire game into VRAM.
Yeah, the data integrity is not even going to be high enough to put that much memory on a GPU at this stage. You'd have to put ECC memory on it.
That would be pretty cool, though, if you could load the whole game into all the game's texture files into VRAM.
You know what? This actually ties in pretty well to a tweet.
A tweet?
Oh, this is from my good buddy, Johan Anderson. Okay, I met him once. But he's really nice. Super nice. Super nice. He is the guy for Frostbite, so there you go. This actually looks a lot like...
That looks really nice.
The render. Okay, so hold on. Does it look like a stubby card?
Yeah.
Is that the end of the card?
Maybe.
Dun,
it could
dun,
also
dun.
just be a shiny part. And that could be the end of the black.
Oh, I'm not screen sharing. I'm sorry.
Very good.
There we go.
Very, very good.
So we're just wondering if this is...
I don't know.
Because you can...
Yeah, I see that.
You see the pixels.
You could definitely be right. It could also just be a shiny reflection thing.
Enhance!
Dun, dun, dun.
Enhance! No, I think so.
Yeah, no, you could...
Now that we've enhanced it.
Now that, yes. It was only because of the enhancement.
I didn't wave my hand enough. Enhance!
Enhance. Zoom in there. Zoom in.
You press the hotkey while I wave my hand. Enhance! Enhance!
Why? Why?
I want to see that emoji closer.
Emoji.
It's happy. Should I keep Should I keep calling them emoticons? Because I'm the older generation. That's what we used to call them.
Well, that's an emoticon.
Wait, they're different?
Isn't an emoji the icon?
Well, we used to call you mean the image based ones, right?
Yeah.
We used to call those emoticons too.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. So
are emoji a specific thing?
This could be a great discussion topic. Emoji versus emoticon. TheGuardian.com has an article from February 6th.
We should do as fast as possible on this.
Alex Hearn sets the record straight once and for all. Okay, I have to know.
I do too.
So
I'm really interested.
I'll read with you. They are not the same thing.
Okay.
And this is bold. The continued confusion of the two will not stand.
Oh, it's not bold, actually. But I wish it was.
At issue was a piece of information that the Silk Road founder's lawyer suggested was critically important, yet was omitted by federal prosecutors. An emoji. Symbol sometimes called as a version of a smiley face. An emoticon is a typographic display of a facial representation like this. And there you go, it looks like you're right. An emoji is apparently an actual picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your little Skype or Google Hangouts little emoji things are emojis. And actually typing colon bracket is emoticon.
So emoji are treated by the computer. This is an important distinction. So the reason we care is not because the meaning is different, but because emoji are treated by the computer as letters from a non-Western language in much the same way that a Japanese or Chinese character would, which also means that the software has to explicitly support them. So all this makes perfect sense to me. Now, I think this distinction must have come later because...
I think it did.
My knowledge, MSN Messenger, which is where
Emoticons.
I cut my teeth on online chat, sort of. I guess I was also on, what was that other one? ICQ, right?
I wasn't.
Uh-oh.
I was Messenger forever. Only Messenger.
You're too young for ICQ, pretty much. It was already dying.
Yeah.
It was dying.
It was falling off pretty quick. I knew people that had it. I knew people that wanted me to get it, but it was kind of falling out of grace.
So MSN Messenger called them emoticons or emoticons once they had real images in it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, right. We should probably do our sponsors.
Sponsor callouts.
Are we gonna do manly sponsor callouts?
We could.
Should I sabotage Nick?
Sabotage.
All right, so our
I
first
think I just heard
sponsor
of-
is
Yeah,
Freshbooks.
Freshbooks.
Freshbooks.com/WAN. So what is Freshbooks,
You know that
you might
smell
ask?
of a new book?
That's not it.
But it smells good.
There is no book involved.
No, actually.
But it is a fresh way of doing your bookkeeping.
It is.
See how I brought that train right back on the rails?
Yep.
So FreshBooks is an online tool if you run your own business and you're self-employed, or they're both very similar, I guess. The point is, if you're your own boss, FreshBooks allows you to keep track of little things like how many hours you worked on a particular job, any invoices that you have to expense for a particular job, creating the invoice for your clients, sending it off to them, seeing that they've read it. That is such
cool.
a huge thing.
It's kind of cool.
Like, as someone who, like, it's stuff like that that gets my attention. It's like, so they can't claim that they didn't get my invoice? Not to mention that with FreshBooks, you don't have to muck around in your existing accounting software. You'll have it with you on the go, and your customers can even pay you by credit card, making it easy for you to know they got the bill and easier for them to pay it. If you want to feel like a boss, then go ahead and use products that make you feel like a boss. Visit freshbooks.com/WAN, and in the How Did You Hear About Us, enter WAN. WAN.
Just WAN.
WAN show. They're not going to know what they mean.
Just WAN.
Well, they'll probably know. All right. Next up, where's your kit? iFixIt.com. Why do we like these guys? Because they save our butts on a daily basis. What?
I have this thing.
You have what thing?
This thing.
Oh, right. Well,
Is there audio?
No, I don't think so.
But
Well, that's the thing I'm holding, and that's their...
it looks better, though.
That's their ProTech toolkit that we absolutely love.
Brandon did it.
So there's like some tri-wing screwdrivers, security Torxes, there's your anti-static wrist strap.
Which we used in the Makey video.
Which you should always wear. There's some little prying tools and pokers. You know, it's funny, the blue ones are the ones that I thought were important, but it turns out I was using the blue ones in a lot of situations where I was actually
supposed to use the black ones?
Supposed to use this one. Yeah, so this one is... well, no, it's not about the ESD.
I thought that one was ESD.
It's about the fact that it doesn't get damaged as easily when you're poking at stuff. It's made out of a bit of a harder plastic.
Interesting.
So this one is a harder plastic for kind of working on metal, whereas the blue ones are soft enough that you can work on plastic without accidentally damaging it.
Cool.
So they've got lots of different stuff in there, a variety of different tweezers. Want to know something I discovered recently?
What?
In the screwdriver kit, one of these ones at the top is not a socket. It's actually a magnet.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's a socket with a magnet in it.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's a little,
I actually had no idea.
Yeah, it's a little grabby tool. And you know what's funny is I realized that and immediately lost it.
I would legit use it. Oh.
Then I found it.
Okay.
So anyway, the ProTech Toolkit is just one of the products on iFixIt's website that allows you to easily, fix...
Oh.
Or just tear apart and not fix, whatever, cowboy, to fix your electronics. So the cool thing here
Ignore that offer code.
Oh, ignore that offer code.
It is WANShow06.
Wow, we're that far behind?
You will save $10 off any purchase of $50 or more, and the ProTech Toolkit is $64.95. So
basically, it's $54.95. Go hard.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, we've got Squarespace. Squarespace is one of the longest-standing sponsors of the WAN show, and what can we say? We love those guys. It's pretty much the way to build your website easily, quickly, and affordably.
I use them personally and not as a sponsorship thing. I specifically didn't go through our contacts.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that part of it.
Yeah.
No, I think you told me that before.
Yeah.
I remember saying I didn't know that.
Probably.
So at one point, I didn't know that.
Which was now.
And then I didn't know it again.
Yeah.
So the point is, if you want your site to look beautiful and operate smoothly, whether it's on a phone or whether it's on
a
laptop or
tablet
or
whatever
the case may be, no coding is required. However, if you do know some coding, then you can actually play around with it a little bit and get into the nuts and bolts as well. Their templates are beautiful. They're great if you want to make a blog, if you want to make a portfolio, if you want to run a store.
Yeah, their commerce stuff is great.
The commerce stuff is a big one that they've added in the time that we've actually been talking about them on WAN Show.
Store software is like way better than ours. I've kind of been thinking about just redirecting like the button that you click.
We should probably actually do that.
Yeah.
Straight up. I was thinking about that too, and then I forgot to tell you.
So it's an idea.
Probably just a way better idea because
Yeah.
our store front is terrible.
It is Just balls.
Anyway, start your free trial site today. The free trial lasts for 2 weeks at squarespace.com, and if you decide to sign up for Squarespace, you can get 10% off the first time around by using offer code Linus.
Squarespace. Build it beautiful. It's in the notes.
I know it's in the notes.
I'm just following the notes.
All right. So this is the part where I don't screw over Nick, because I wasn't talking about getting all the sponsor reads wrong. Not that that hasn't happened before. Nick and I have a bet. This is a pretty serious business bet.
It's a lot more serious than I think he's really going to put on.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but if you're subscribed to Channel Superfun, you are going to see the result one way or another. And it's going to either be amazing or really unpleasant. So pretty much, we have...
Pretty much you're screwed.
Finally, I have refused for so long. He's pushed for it.
Yep.
Nick's pushed for it. My wife's pushed for it. Everyone has wanted this for quite some time. Can you post that, please?
I got
Thank
it.
you.
Give me a sec.
Just a plain Linus Tech Tips shirt. I always kind of went... So, like, if you feel like, why would I want a Linus Tech Tips logo on my chest? I've always been with you. It never made any sense to me. Linus Tech Tips, to me, was, like, not the kind of thing... It's not that I didn't want one. Like, I'm proud to wear it, but I didn't know that our viewers were going to be, like, would be amped up about, like, just a plain, clean Linus Tech Tips shirt. So I've refused to make one. I was like, no, let's have, like, Brofist on the front, or, like... You know, a picture of a cat with like a
cool.
naughty word on it. And all of those are great things. But we are finally doing it. A Linus Tech Tips shirt. Now, this one will be available in the long term on some store, actually. It might be not on districtlines.com, but somewhere else. More details.
It'll be in the link of the description of the video that we tell you it's on.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere. But for now, it's on Teespring as a limited edition campaign. And the only difference between this one and the ones that'll be available later are that these ones, as a nod to the people who love to be first, say first on the back. We love you guys. Please don't comment on our videos. But we're still going to pander to you by releasing a shirt that says first on the back.
Although if you comment on the video and say first and then link an image to you wearing the shirt with first on the back,
then we'll still hate you. But
it's
it'll be
not
less.
as much. Yeah. There you go. Slightly
Actually,
lower.
It's never really bothered me that much. Like, I've actually done it on my own videos. Like, before I set it live,
I've seen
I'll
that.
post first.
I like that.
It's just because I'm kind of a troll by nature. But the internet at large will definitely hate you.
Yes.
For posting first with your first shirt. So there you go. Apparently 14 of them are gone already. How quickly did that happen?
Everyone in chat is already saying first all over the place.
Excellent. All right, so there you go, guys. We finally have a Linus Tech Tips shirt. They're on Teespring, so they'll be available sometime in the summer. You'll actually receive it. They've actually gotten faster in the time we've been using them, so...
That's cool.
Let's move on to more topics, shall we?
More topics.
What do we got? Oh, here we go. Yes. More AMD news. Word on the street is that AMD's Fiji, so the rumored 390X...
What, Nick?
...will retail at... Why are you here?
What?
I thought you guys were still talking about shirts. I just wanted to say we have lots of different variations available, including ladies' shirts. You should get them. Yeah, woo!
We have ladies' shirts
We do have
available?
ladies' shirts.
Yeah, we have a
this
ladies'
time.
V-neck, a ladies' tank top, and a ladies' regular t-shirt.
Oh, no way. I'm getting
And
one for
then,
my wife.
Freaking a lot of just like men's or whatever.
Oh, that's cool. When she doesn't wear it, I'm going to be, like, super sad. When my wife doesn't wear it. I'm just going to be like...
We should
get her 7 of them.
We should
so
all...
She has to wear them every...
We should all get women's shirts for the respective ladies in our lives.
Yeah.
And then just, like I'll get one for my mom and stuff.
then
My mom will wear it, but, like, no one else will.
And then when we don't see them wearing it, just be like...
Why not?
Why don't you like my
Are you not proud of me? Why don't you wear the shirt?
Sorry, hi chat. Thanks, guys.
All right, so this is from Fudzilla.com. Is it the single most reputable site on the internet? No, but Fudo also gets it right a fair amount of the time.
Fudo?
Fuad. Fudo's his nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know his nickname was Fudo.
He is also jumping on my bandwagon about that other headline about the 4 gig limit. 4 gig first, 8 gig to follow, apparently.
Okay.
I do know that 8 gigs is more complicated, and I have heard rumors that the HBM chips yields are not fantastic. So a high-capacity card might be prohibitively expensive. Not that Nvidia minds releasing a graphics card for $1,000 anyway, but
Slightly more than that.
AMD is being the value solution again and aiming apparently for around $850.
Value solution, $850.
Somewhere between the Titan X and the GeForce GTX 980.
I don't know if we can call it the value solution. I don't know if I'm okay with that.
With that said,
That's really expensive for a value solution.
there are rumors. Hey, saving $150 is saving $150.
Yeah, but it's
If
still
you
a
were gonna buy
graphics
Titan X.
card for like over $800.
And it does only have 4 gigs of memory compared to Titan X's 12.
Okay, we'll wait for the performance stuff. I just don't know if you can say that's a value card.
We also really need to see what the counter is going to be from the Green Camp. Because there's a lot of rumors floating around about a GTX 980 Ti. A lot of rumors floating around. I've seen some rumors about that particular thing. But what we don't know anything about is pricing. So if Nvidia released a 980 Ti, would they price it more similarly to the GTX 980 now and drop the price of the 980, really putting in the thumb screws on AMD, potentially, unless the 390X crushes the Titan X, which we don't know?
Yeah, that's true. I think, honestly, they'll play very reactionary. If they need to, they'll drop it. They've done that before. If they don't need to, they won't drop it. They've done that before.
Here's the funny thing, though. The funny thing is this. I guarantee you, AMD knows everything there is to know about the 980 Ti right now. And Nvidia knows everything there is to know about the 390X right now.
Probably.
They probably even have cards. Like, straight up. So, whatever happens is just going to be like... It's like a game of, like, cards where they just can both see each other's cards. So just... Because you know how we've seen it time and time again in the last couple of years, where every card that launches slots in perfectly with the rest of the landscape. Both of these cards are just going to make perfect sense depending on whether you have $850 to spend or however much a 980 Ti costs.
I can't wait for
Makes
you to
sense
do
to sort
a
of
value
loosely-
build log with an $850 graphics card.
That would be awesome!
You should just try to find the cheapest possible way to build all the rest of the computer and then keep it under $1,000.
No, dog. The intro
Like
for that...
Scrapyard Wars eBay all the parts except for the graphics card.
The intro for that video writes itself. Because remember there was that whole headline with Lisa Su, AMD CEO, saying they don't want to be known as the value solution. An $850 graphics card, you guys keep releasing those, you're going to be the value solution forever.
Oh my god, we could troll the crap out of them. That would be hilarious.
Super awesome.
That would be kind of a fun idea for a build, though. Put in, like, the cheapest stuff that will be able to actually run that graphics card, but with modern things. And see how it goes.
All right, so this is actually going to be this actually ties in pretty well. So we're going to do a Twitter blitz here. All right? And this is always my favorite kind of question because it's the question where there is no answer, there's just speculation. So many people ask me this all the time. Like, what is going to be the graphics card to buy of the next generation? Because it looks like it's going to be 980 Ti versus 390X. And this is actually about... or wait, that doesn't really tie in that well. You know what? Let's do it anyway. So we're going to do it as a straw poll instead, since it's a fairly easy question to answer. So GTX 780 Ti versus R9 390X. And I'm just even speculating. Yes, no... And
What is yes and no to this question?
oh, right. Those aren't really very... Okay, I'm sorry. GTX...
It's like, what the heck? Is that 780 Ti?
Yeah, oh, crap.
So is the title. What are you doing?
What am I even doing? Why is the 780 Ti the only card that exists in my mind?
Because they're nerfing it.
Are they? What?
Have you even heard the news?
They nerfed what? What?
There's people talking about new NVIDIA driver revisions. I don't know how this didn't end up in the doc, but apparently new NVIDIA driver revisions are making the 7080 Ti a little bit worse.
780 Ti?
Yeah.
Really? Because I heard about them. I haven't looked into it enough to talk about it in depth, but I heard about them.
I haven't been able to try.
Possibly nerfing the overclocking on the 970M and 980Ms again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, this is desktop card stuff though. I haven't had time to try it. I do kind of want to check it out.
How fascinating!
It could also just be fixed in the very next driver.
Right.
So it's also possible.
I am trying to post the straw poll. I do not straight up remember my Twitch password. So that is very challenging for me at this time. I'm a challenged sort of person. And it doesn't really help when the chat loads phenomenally slowly. Here we go. Ba-doop boop! There's our straw poll.
Ba-dum-bum.
Oh, wait, where'd my link to it go? There it is. This is what happens when you have... Oh, that's not it. When you have like 300 bazillion tabs. So let's see the results as they roll in. And let's move on into our next topic. What do we got? Apparently 22% of you are going to put a turnip in your next computer. Huh. I didn't know we had that many Xbox gamers watching this stream.
Oh,
dang!
Correct. YouTube launches 60 FPS live streaming in quest to take on Twitch. This was posted on The Verge.
Dun dun dun.
It was posted on the forum by Tangra.
You know what the funny thing about these straw polls is?
What?
Is it just straight up doesn't matter how long we look at the results. After the first like 10 seconds, the proportion never changes.
Yeah.
It's like how big of a sample size is enough? Apparently the first 10 seconds. Because it's like done. And let's see everyone. Okay, let's see if we can even change it if we want to. Guys, if you haven't voted, get in there. Turnip power. Come on.
Vote for turnip.
Vote for turnip.
Hashtag vote for turnip.
Yes. We gotta bring the turnip in line with the 980 Ti or beat it, okay? Come on, turnip. And I've enabled... Actually, this is news we didn't even... Okay, so I'm going to put away the straw poll so you guys can't see if it's working.
Look how beautiful that is. How could you not vote for that?
There's a new feature on Twitch. So before we get into YouTube 60 FPS streaming, Twitch has a new feature that has shortened the delay. Remember back when they changed their server configuration so that there was that massive, up to over a minute delay between stream and chat? Now, there is a beta feature that you can go ahead and enable within your dashboard in order to... Sorry, I can't keep a straight face.
Turnip is beating 390X.
Turnip power, man.
Yes! Come on.
So is this how politicians win elections? It's just if we tell them hard enough to vote for it, they'll
yes!
do it. Yes! Turnip power!
Yes! This is what campaigning is all about.
That's right. That's why going door to door works, kids. Yeah. For turnip, we should just go door to door, leave turnips on the doorsteps. With like a little toothpick in it, a little sign, vote for turnip. Next time there's a local election.
Vermin Supreme just goes around and leaves boots with little turnips in the top on everyone's door.
Awesome.
I wonder how many people will get that reference.
So Twitch has a new feature that allows us to interact with you guys more closely. Does it bring it back to the way it was before? No. But I think it's able to shorten it up to like 15 to 20 seconds or something like that. Like definitely a significant difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
So very, very good news.
It's better to the point where you're not waiting like 2 minutes for a response because you type it in, then it takes so long for him to see it, and then he says it takes so long for you to see it, and it's just ridiculous.
All right, so the original article here is from The Verge. Let's go ahead and fire that up. Ba-doop boop.
Ba-dum-bum. Ba-dum-bum.
So what is there to really...
Oh, no, I just closed the doc.
Way to go.
I'll be there in a moment. There isn't a ton to specifically say other than the title, but it is interesting that YouTube is trying this hard. There's been a huge... We've talked about this a little bit in previous shows, but there's been a huge push for online video in general. Streaming especially, I'd actually say, with Azubu getting tons of funding lately.
Yep. Twitch continuing to completely explode.
Twitch just being absolutely insane.
Acquired by Amazon, and not exactly a small deal.
Google trying to kind of start a fight, which looks a lot more interesting than Azubu's so far not super successful push. But
well,
anyways,
the thing about YouTube is that, and there's something that they have to overcome here, is that Google finally woke up to the fact that gaming content is popular on YouTube. And has decided to actually give two craps about it at all.
Yeah.
So it took them so long. There was never any reason for Twitch to be allowed to exist. YouTube could have easily supported these features before, and maybe Twitch would have never been able to spring up out of completely the woodwork and just completely dominate online game streaming. But the good news for YouTube is that Twitch is not interested right now in being a video repository. Yeah. So gamers have had to kind of support both platforms, because if you want to archive anything and have it be actually discoverable on, the second largest search engine, or whatever that thing everyone likes to say is, second largest search engine in the world, they want to be discoverable, they have to support YouTube, even if their followings aren't as big over there. And if they want to live stream, Twitch has been the only way to do it, because that's where you get the actual support for things like third-party streaming software like XSplit, which we love, or if you want to, say for example, stream at 60 FPS, which people love, or stream at resolutions other than 1080p, which people love. So you have to support these two platforms. So guys like us, who are heavily invested in YouTube, actually have a pretty decent presence on Twitch if the push ever came to shove and we wanted to start investing in Twitch more heavily. And many Twitch streamers, maybe they don't have 1.3 million subscribers on YouTube, or whatever the number is. Maybe they've got 800 or 80,000 or 150,000 or something like that compared to a massive following on Twitch. Well, hey, that's not insignificant either. A huge part of building a channel is that first 20 or 30 or 50,000. You work so much harder for the first 100,000 subscribers than you do for a subsequent 250,000. That's the way it works. Once you gain critical mass, I mean, if you were never going to hit 100,000 subscribers, then none of this is applicable. But if you were going to get big, you work so much harder for it at the beginning. So, very interesting. I don't necessarily see it changing immediately.
Yeah, I really wonder how this is going to go, because Twitch has such a good relationship with all the game streamers. They bring them out to shows. Like, the Twitch booths at shows are insane.
Yep.
They directly support them in so many different ways.
Yep.
And they're just so, the connections and networking that Twitch has is so incredibly strong. And at least in our experience, the whole networking and connections and support side from Google is really not great.
Google's an engineering company.
Yes.
And Twitch seems to have a much better feel for what it means to be a relationship company.
And there's really interesting things on Twitch, which is going to keep streamers there, like openly being able to do donate stuff with no problems. You're able to do contests. Not really able to do, but happens all the time everywhere, and kind of everyone ignores it. There's subscribe buttons, which helps people a ton. You can get icons if you subscribe, which helps people a ton.
With that said, some of these features exist or will exist on YouTube as well. Yep. And YouTube's kind of pay pass, some kind of premium paid option feature that's been rumored forever.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I don't know, more like what Vessel's doing.
I thought you were talking about the tip jar. I got it.
No, not that one.
Yeah.
More like what Vessel's doing, where there's a paid YouTube and you just don't see any ads. That's been rumored for a long time, and that could come along and put a lot of money in streamers' pockets if, they're rolling ads at will. And people who are paying a monthly subscription and only watching that streamer are effectively giving them a few bucks. And the volume could be potentially much higher. I mean, YouTube is a huge, huge audience, as PewDiePie can certainly attest to.
I wonder if there's some form of exclusivity agreement in the Twitch contract, because it would be interesting if you just streamed to both, which is possible.
Yeah, it's not impossible, that's for sure.
It would be
need more upload.
Not super easy, but it would definitely be possible.
You could
stream
platforms.
to both. Yeah.
I mean, you'll always have to have a primary. And that's something that we've discovered, is that when we say don't forget to subscribe, only YouTube has subscribe.
I say follow.
Yeah, and I've started saying follow too, but there's a lot of other things too, like click the annotation. Other video platforms don't support annotations. So if we started uploading on Bilibili, for example...
but if it's a stream, you can address that much more easily.
Sort of.
And like you can mix your chats and stuff.
Okay, something a lot of streamers do is subscriber-only chat. So are they just going to ignore the YouTube chat and just talk to their Twitch chat? I don't know.
That's interesting, yeah.
Because there'll be a lot of spam in that YouTube chat, unless there's a subscriber-only mode. And then what? Are you going to ask for subscribers on both? Or are you going to monitor 2 chat windows? Come on. That's tough.
There will definitely be...
There will be guys who do it.
Browser hook, which mixes those chats.
And then that's a total mess, because then they can't see each other. Not that anyone can really talk to each other in a halfway...
No, I mean for the streamer.
Oh, for the streamer.
So the streamer can monitor everything.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just, it will fragment it for sure.
Yeah.
The degree to which it does it, I don't know. But it will fragment it for sure. Okay, so let me have... You know what? This is our next Twitter Blitz, and this is actually from... Lenovo has their upcoming Tech World event, and there's a couple of hashtags that we want you guys to use in it. So we haven't done a Twitter Blitz in a while, and this one is pretty much open-ended. So we're supposed to talk about what we think is next. And it's for the upcoming Tech World event, so I'm assuming if I were to talk about houseplants that have genes injected into them that make them glow... Well, I guess that's kind of tech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's talk computer tech. So I want you guys to post about what you think is next at Linus Tech on Twitter. Use these 2 hashtags, boop, at Linus Tech on Twitter, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to blitz through you guys in the next little while here. And it can be vague. So do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So for me, what's next, whether I like it or not, is wires are going away. That is something that is kind of, like I've been kind of inching towards this for a while. You look at Intel's, what is it, 50 gigahertz or whatever that stupid what's the 58 gigahertz?
I don't remember exactly what it is.
The very short range Wi-Fi or the very short range wireless. Someone's gonna correct me. Short range wireless high speed. I think it was like gigabit speeds or something ridiculous like that. High the Y gig, 60 gigahertz. There we go. So seeing technology like that demoed and actually working, seeing companies like Apple. So the MacBook 2015 was the thing that kind of feels like, wow, someone's already doing this. So when you go on Apple.com, they've got the iPhone, the iPad, they've got the MacBook, and they've got the iWatch. They've got the Apple Watch, and they've got them all arranged in I can't find the page right now, but they've got them all arranged, and it just says better together. And what struck me about those products is that none of them encourage external connectivity. They all encourage cloud-based storage. They all encourage and cloud-based backup for things like photos. Yeah. They all encourage sync between the devices without thinking about it, without plugging anything in. And, whether you're one of those people who believes Apple when they say DSLR-like photo quality, or whether you're one of those people who's like, no, I'm still going to need a USB cable and a card reader to transfer photos off my real freaking camera. Whoever you are, Apple is trying to push that future forward today, and if they're trying to do it, then someone's going to come along and take that concept and clone it and do it better once the technology catches up a little bit, and that future, I think, is coming. Wireless charging, wireless data, and...
The camera that I'm borrowing right now can transfer pictures to my phone over NFC.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. So there you go. That's what I think is what's next, is wires are just going to be gone. Completely gone.
I think, personally, solar power is going to be a much bigger thing. The efficiency of the panels themselves and the efficiency of storage mechanisms have massively increased over the last little while.
The home battery is a big deal, hey?
Yeah. There's a study that just came out of MIT talking about how we need to focus on it much more because there's just so much available power. It's not even like, oh, well, it's better for the planet, or derp. It's just like, no, there's a lot of it, and it's super available, and it's sitting right there, and it's really not hard to take advantage of.
And it's literally there, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, like it's super easy.
Unless Mr. Burns builds a sun blocker, we're kind of stuck with the sun.
Yeah.
Mr. Burns. All right, so let's have a look at what you guys think. We never do Twitter blitzes anymore.
Speaking of which, I wanted to, one of the, I should talk to you about prospective projects not on the WAN show.
Oh, okay. Amy says the 6S. Gotcha.
Okay.
No idea, but it better be shiny. GPUs coming from the manufacturer with water cooling being more common than ones with air cooling. That is an out there prediction. That is a very out there prediction. I think that will probably never happen. I think water cooled out of the box is going to be not a thing for a while. Kevin Hall says virtual reality contact lenses. Dear Lord, would I ever love for that to be next.
I don't think that's next.
And it's hopefully augmented reality, because VR contact lenses, how do I take them out? When I want to see.
Well,
it's like I want to eat my food.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to have a camera somewhere for augmented reality. No, because if you can see
augmented
through them,
reality would
so
be
if you
fine.
can see through them, then augmented reality is fine. And if they were VR, you couldn't see through them.
Yeah.
So you'd have to wear a head-mounted camera then, and that'd have to connect to them. Mind you, if there are no wires. And if I'm right and no wires is next, then this will be later and there won't be any wires.
But then that doesn't mean it's next.
That doesn't mean it's next. Although, did you hear about the bionic lenses? So that's some pretty freaking cool stuff. I don't have an article to show you guys or anything, but my wife and I were talking about apparently in the next 2 to 3 years, bionic lenses are coming with all the advantages and none of the drawbacks of surgeries like LASIK. So, wow. They don't degrade over time. You're not going to need glasses later.
So I should just still not buy glasses.
No, you should still get glasses. He
But
wants me
it's coming in 2 to 3 years.
He wants me to buy him a bigger teleprompter, so that he doesn't have to buy.
We should have a bigger teleprompter anyways.
So that he doesn't have to buy glasses.
No, we should have a bigger teleprompter anyways.
Okay, so
my teleprompter is crap. Even today, filming it, it's like da-da-da-da-da. The text on the screen is jumping all over the place.
That's the best app. You should
so
see
get
the other
something
ones.
that isn't based on an app.
You should see the other ones.
Oh, I believe it, but get something that's not based on an app.
All right, next is another interesting VR presentation. Yeah, okay. Most likely VR movies. That is not next, but I do hope... I mean, I think they're kind of called video games, because to shoot a movie in VR and, have it be... how would you even get a camera rig that records in all directions so
I think
people
they're
can...
already working on that stuff.
Yeah, they have 360
They
degree...
already have the camera rig.
Yeah, they have that, but... How could you shoot it in a way that I think it would actually detract from the movie watching experience in certain ways. There's probably been a tech demo.
It will be a totally different style, super different style. That's one thing to remember.
Part of the movie experience is the filmmaker's control over your emotions and your experience. You're having the experience that they give you. Otherwise, you might as well play a game.
Yeah.
So here we go. So this is an article from The Verge from January this year. So you hide from a cyborg or something like that. I don't see movies moving there. I see movies and games moving closer together as opposed to VR movies. So yes, do agree, Alan. I don't think it's next, and I don't know what it'll be called, but it'll be some kind of move-aim?
Move-aim.
Gamey? Move-aim? Some combination of the two. What's coming? Wireless power for PCs. I think we're a ways away from that too. Mind you, as PC power goes down, I can't think of any reason why a next
Technically, you could do it now.
Or 2 gens from now, like MacBook, for example, could be wirelessly powered from a range that would make sense. Yeah.
Because technically you could do that now. It's just going to be super not great.
David Rice, cheaper, higher resolution OLED. That is a super safe prediction there. USB 3.1 Type-C, that's already here, sort of. Yes, we do have one device that supports it. Cheaper, high-capacity SSDs. That's all definitely happening.
Yep.
Networked graphics, would love that. I don't know if it's next, but... Well, okay, strictly speaking, network graphics is already a thing. NVIDIA Grid is on a network, even if it's the internet. But I think you mean local network graphics. Better battery tech for laptops and phones. That's always coming next.
Yeah, I don't know.
36 core i7 processor. That won't be for a while.
I don't think it's coming next. I don't really think the battery thing is going to change a whole lot until we change technologies.
7-day phone batteries. Did you see the light phone?
The light phone.
Yeah, this thing's bananas. It's like the stupidest thing ever. But like phone. People will like it. It's on Kickstarter right now. We don't generally cover Kickstarter stuff just because a lot of it ends up never existing.
Yes.
So the light phone by Light, it met its goal. And pretty much what it is a credit card sized phone. And you got to take it with a big grain of salt whenever any manufacturer says credit card sized, because it could be as thick as you want.
Yeah, that's not credit card.
That's not credit card size. But the battery apparently lasts for 20 days. And straight up, all it does is make and receive phone calls. That's it. It is not smart.
All right.
And it's $100. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I guess I get it. So we're bringing back the brick.
Would you need a SIM?
But it's like a sexy brick. Yeah, you'd need a SIM.
That sucks.
Speaker, phone. Here we go.
I
there
guess
you go.
Could always rip the SIM from your dead smartphone.
Yeah. The Light phone is a prepaid GSM cell phone that works independent of your carrier. It comes preloaded with minutes, a SIM card, and an app to use with your existing phone.
Okay, that's cool.
So there you go.
So they're a carrier now.
The Light phone. By Light.
I love companies that don't have a crazy amount of forethought in their product names. It's great. I think it's awesome.
All right, so what else we got?
Responses from people?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, so we'll do 10 more Twitter blitzes. Less local storage and more theft of data. Yeah, okay. That's unfortunate. Mape says lower latency wireless to make things like wireless gaming peripherals a real viable option. Yeah, right now, the only wireless gaming peripherals we have are extraordinarily expensive. And part of the problem with that is that, when you add $3 to the BOM cost of a peripheral product with the margin structure of that particular industry, you're adding anywhere from, $5 to $15 to the actual retail price, because retailers are expecting deep double-digit margins, the manufacturers making deep double-digit margins, and people have different expectations for these products. If there's something wrong with it, they expect you to pop a new one in the mail for them, and you expect to get it and not bother sending the old one back. And that's not the kind of thing that, a motherboard manufacturer is ever going to support, because the margins on that product don't support it. So in order to not fall behind in customer service and perceived value, you can't actually just make your product cheaper and then expect people to just accept that. They're going to expect all the other stuff and a better product and cheaper. So yeah, good point. Lower cost and lower latency wireless. Yeah, it's always batteries. It's always batteries when we discuss what do people want.
Well, I completely agree. I just don't think it's coming.
Helix / I hope you're wrong. VR system, yes. Curved screen laptop, wow, I hope you're wrong. If you had one that was flexible, maybe.
But why?
But I've used a 24-inch curved display, and it doesn't make sense.
No.
So, like, the curve from that, at that size, doesn't make sense. So for a laptop, unless you're like, you've got it like right to your face, I don't think it makes a ton of sense. That's quite the prediction. Apple will have nothing to do with unprecedented technologies at all. Well, actually, that's not really fair. I mean, Thunderbolt was unprecedented. They certainly had a lot to do with that. Just saying. I don't have much to say, but hi. All right. Another episode of Junkyard Wars.
Wow. Now we're never filming
Yeah.
again.
Now we're... Okay, that's enough. No more Twitter Blitz. You just ruined it for everyone, Kevin Hall.
Wow, Kevin Hall.
Wow, Kevin Hall.
Jeez, Kevin Hall.
It's called Scrapyard Wars.
I'm going to tweet
when we do it. Junkyard Wars is some other show. In a junkyard, it probably smells.
I just typed in tweet.com. That's how distraught I am.
That's pretty distraught right there.
That's quite distraught.
Spotify is apparently going to have a New York press event. So this is... Oh, no, not apparently. This is apparently a thing. So Spotify moves into video and podcasts with major media partnerships. So Spotify is not ready to lie down and have Apple completely eat their lunch on music streaming, nor are they wanting to limit themselves to music streaming forever. So short-form videos and podcasts sourced from BBC, ESPN, and Comedy Central. ESPN is such a huge one. Sports is something that... I mean, where did we go for sports? Justin.tv? That's gone. Twitch no longer cares about that. So what? You have to just go to the individual sports network's website every time? To be
honest, there was a lot of people watching the Mayweather fight on Twitch. It just wasn't a legal thing.
Wow. Anyway, that's something YouTube doesn't do particularly well. It's something that some of the leagues, particularly the NHL, doesn't do particularly well, is things like highlights and analysis on YouTube. Having someone like ESPN come online with someone like Spotify, having other sports networks potentially sign up, that could be freaking awesome. That's the kind of thing where if they start to get some really great content, maybe I get off Google Play Music. Maybe I start paying for Spotify instead.
Wow.
Get my music and that. And Comedy Central is another big one too. Although regional licensing is going to be a huge one because Comedy Central, I doubt very much. Yeah, so service will be launched in US, UK, Germany, and Sweden. So Comedy Central is probably not coming to Canada anytime soon because I think there's some complicated stuff between Comedy Central and Comedy Network and blah, 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 blah. Regional, man. Sucks.
It's annoying. It's super hyper duper annoying.
Apparently, this is cool though, Spotify's new version will have tempo detection, which will keep pace with your feet when you are working out.
Why would you want that?
I'd like that. Like something a little bit like when you're walking, you listen to a different... No, the song doesn't speed up or slow down. That would be awful.
Yeah, I was like, what the crap? Okay, that makes sense. So for song selection.
Yeah. So if you're doing like a super hard workout, then
Okay.
like cool. And if you're not, then like that's cool too.
Tempo as in...
I'd like to see it tied to...
I wish heart rate.
I was just going to say. I'd like to see it tied to heart rate instead, but this is a step in the right direction.
Because that's one annoying thing. That watch that I'm not going to talk a ton about right now, I'll go bust out like a pretty intense workout and then come home and be like, you were active for 1 minute today. And I'm like, screw you! That's not true!
Is it because of the phone?
Not a ton of movement.
Oh, right, because you're like lifting.
If I'm
and stuff,
moving
right.
from like a squat rack to a bench or whatever, like
right,
it's really not that far.
So what you're saying is that fitness trackers still have a ways to go for all the different types of fitness there happens to be. So me, for example, I engage in mind fitness.
Wow.
It's where I sit and think so hard about fitness that I get ripped.
No.
What about that belt that you can wear that vibrates?
Oh.
It is so funny. Like the
I can't believe they
celebrities
still
that have
exist.
sold out so hard. Well, that's exactly it. It's the celebrity endorsements. I saw a commercial for one of those things that had like Denise Richards and someone else in it. And I was like, are you really worth that little?
If it worked, everyone would have one. Everybody.
You know, they reached out about doing advertising with us once. One of them, I can't remember which one.
We should do a review.
No, it was they weren't going to send a review unit. That was not the deal.
Get them to send us. I'll wear it for like a month.
Okay, so
Actually, no, I won't because I'm going to work out naturally.
Like
anyways.
dumb. So basically, I had never looked into them. Like I knew they were on late night TV. Not everything on late night TV is bad. The Bamix, for example, is a great handheld mixer. And it's one of those as seen on TV, like stupid commercial with, and you get the nut scrambler with it. And no, it's
well, George Foreman grills are actually really
George
good.
Foreman grills, also awesome.
Probably anything that Billy Mays ever advertised. Because it's Billy freaking
Mighty
Mays.
Putty, really?
I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
I believe Billy.
So, I'd never looked into them because I just assumed they were stupid, but now we were having a real conversation with money involved, so I was like, okay, I should probably find out if they're dumb. And every site I found was so positive. And I was like, no, nothing can be that amazing. And it was at that time that I realized that basically they just spam websites. I was not aware of this particular strategy. I've never really looked into the ways people get scammed online because it was never really a concern for me.
It's super a thing.
I navigate directly to a website that I want to go to. I'm not much of a surfer. So I was like, oh, so they just create endless websites with slightly different SEO strategies so that something will surface, and they create them over and over and over again all the time so that something positive will surface before all the reviews about how it's completely stupid and pointless are able to be found. And I was like, okay, no, and go away. But yeah. I don't remember where I was going with this anymore. OCZ has a new NVMe SSD, so NVMe SSDs are coming!
Hooray!
This was posted by Numlock21 on the forum.
What available formats are there for this? The show's kind of over, by the way, but we can do this.
Is it? What time is it? Oh.
6:10.
How did that happen?
6:10.
6:10.
I was going to say 9, but I assumed the minute was going to flip over. And then, there we go. Now it's 6:10.
while you were speaking, you thought the minute would actually flip over.
I did.
Mid-word.
I did.
You were going to time it that precisely.
That was the plan.
You're a hero.
I was off by like 5 seconds.
So, capacities anywhere from, I think it was 800 gigs to 6.4 terabytes.
Boom.
They're compliant with NVMe 1.1. They support 2 hosts accessing them simultaneously, or apparently that update is coming in Q3 or something, which is completely bananas. Like, what the heck? Like, so you could have a virtual machine natively accessing, like 2 virtual machines accessing it natively or something is what that sounds like to me. I'm sure someone's gonna correct me, but that sounds completely off the hook. And performance is in the neighborhood of like 3 gigabytes per second. Not quite. So it's sequential read speeds at 2.9 gigabytes per second and write speeds at 1.9 megabytes per second. Sustained using 19 nanometer NAND, and there's both a 6000 series using MLC flash and a 6300 series using Enterprise Grand eMLC flash. Very cool.
Do we know what form factors it comes in?
PCI Express, I would assume.
No,
Really doubt it. Yeah, but it'll support self-encryption in the Q3 update. End-to-end data protection. So this is all important enterprise stuff. But yeah, okay, so here's the dual port functionality. It's going to launch with single port functionality with an upgrade in Q3. It does this using a newer generation of the 16-channel PMC Sierra Princeton controller than what is found on competing models. And the advantage of having dual port functionality is it allows 2 hosts to access the drive both concurrently.
that's ridiculous.
Okay then. I guess we'll see what that sort of means
Yeah,
later on down the road. Should we do a couple of our quick rapid fires?
we can. We're 12 minutes over time.
Damie Killer posted on the forum that Ducky is teasing their first mouse.
What?
We don't have a whole ton of detail about this yet.
Dougie never. They're always just like random photo on Facebook. That's their whole thing. It's always ridiculous.
Ducky Secret.
Oh, dude, this will probably be in Taiwan.
Continual improvement. Oh yeah, they're definitely showing it at Computex. That's a thing. So, yep.
Doesn't look super interesting.
Could a mouse look that interesting?
No.
Quality and precision is what matters, Luke.
Hey, we put one of the, like, very few good sensors in it and some plastic around it.
That isn't bad.
And Omron switches.
EA is apparently teasing Need for Speed Underground 3.
Nice.
So they're going to have to prove that that's a good game before I play it.
Someone told me, I think Nick told me about this, and I was like, yup, don't care. Was a huge fan of the previous ones, and I have no confidence that this will be good. But I will pay attention. I'm not going to get hyped up, because there's so many ways that they could screw it up.
The Logitech G29 is apparently in the final stages of validation. That is allegedly what it looks like. So it's got a whack ton of buttons and seems to be targeted more at the PlayStation crowd, if we're to go by that apparently PlayStation logo. That looks like a PlayStation logo to me.
It does.
And the circle, square, X, triangle.
That could be different model thing, though.
Could be, absolutely could be. So, and you would only need 2 models, and they've done PlayStation exclusive wheels in the past, and then you could have like an Xbox/PC one.
Yeah.
Razer launched the Firefly Chroma mouse pad. So this is posted by... Oh, and the last one was from Tank Slayer X. Or just Tank Slayer, I guess. And this one's from Ah Ming. The original article here is from Tom's Hardware. So if the question you were asking yourself was, what can we put RGB LEDs in next? The answer is a mouse pad. You know, I was really amped about the RGB keyboards.
And I super don't care anymore. Do you care anymore?
I still have one on my desk. And
Okay.
I have it set to kind of a purple color that's very similar to the UV lights in my case.
Okay.
And since then I have not touched any kinds of effects or anything because it's kind of distracting.
It is. And I don't care. And you know what? I like my PBT keycap so much that I just want that and no glow. Because I never look at my keyboard anyways.
I do still like the backlight. I like the backlight.
Sure, that's fine, but I don't know. I was super hyped for it too. I was like, yay, innovation in keyboards. And then I was like, I actually don't care. I just like my nice keycaps.
So there you go. Now you can plug your mouse pad in via USB as well. I'm really glad they didn't put LEDs on the actual surface of the mouse pad, because it probably would have wrecked tracking on every mouse ever, but I'm sure Razer's smart enough to not do something that phenomenally stupid. So there you go. You can have
the next product comes out.
Yeah. LEDs!
Interlaced LEDs! Ugh.
The woven fibers of the mouse pad have LED elements at either end, and you can like make a rainbow. You can like make Nyan Cat.
They're in the shape of
your...
snakes. Yeah. They slither across the mouse pad in a destructive manner.
This is just funny because of his name. Original articles from Polygon. This was posted by Good Bytes. Nintendo's new VP of Sales. His name is actually Doug Bowser.
Yeah. In his like photo that they took of him in his new office or whatever, saying like "Thank you for the warm welcome," there's Mario and Luigi tied up by a GameCube controller in the background on the shelf, as like a joke.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny.
That's kind of cool.
And I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about that. Thank you guys very much for tuning into the WAN show. Oh, that's kind of cool. Wounded turtle can return to the ocean thanks to a 3D printed titanium beak. It's like a future turtle. Look at that, man.
Wow, that's badass.
Yeah, it actually looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like character or something. That's cool. Someone is going to make a video game bad guy or like movie character based on this picture. Mark my words.
But
that's the coolest looking thing ever.
People already have like metal replacement stuff.
Yeah, but it'll be like really based on this. Like it'll be very close. It'll be close.
Okay.
It's a prediction that I can't lose on. Unlike the one about these t-shirts, which I can lose on. Did I tell them what exactly the wager was?
No.
Okay.
I thought you weren't.
Well, I'll do that on After Party.
Wrecked.
Alright, so thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, long show.
See you next week. No, I don't think the show was actually long because we started quite late.
It wasn't crazy long.
We'll find out.
It's like 5 minutes long or something.
Okay. Sometimes it's 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about the length.
You know what? The girth of the show.
The girth of the show.
Is the girth your bandwidth?
I don't know, because what would like ping times be then?
Your how fast you are. Repetition.
No, because ping is just
Iteration.